You are listening to Greg and his friends talk sports 20 to 30 minutes every day. My friends and I talk about what Central Indiana sports fans are talking about, whether it's the Pacers, Fever, Colts, IU, Purdue, national sports, local high school sports, IndyCar. My friends and I are talking about it. Please come back tomorrow and the day after that. Well, the Colts have offered Daniel Jones a lot of money. My friend Will Rutherford will be along to talk about that one. Plus, we have lots of high school basketball sectional results and highlights. And I talked with Lapel head coach Kevin Cherry and Blackford head coach Aaron Daniels about their big wins on Tuesday. And Grace beat Indiana Wesleyan for the third time this season to win the Crossroads men's basketball tournament on Tuesday night. We have all that and more coming up for you. But before we get to all of that, I want to let you know what's going on here at the Central Indiana Sports Report. And what's going on is on Tuesday night, we had full recaps of the Elwood and Eastbrook sectionals. A Purdue report with Jake Dunn on Wednesday morning, previewing tonight's game against Northwestern. An IndyCar report with Elijah Poe is in the works and should be out on Thursday evening as we look back at race number 1 at St. Pete and preview the first oval of the year at Phoenix, which is back for the first time since 2018. Love that track. Thank you so much for joining us. My friends and I will be back tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the day after that. The Colts have offered Daniel Jones reportedly $37.8 million under the rarely used transition tag, so he is apparently the quarterback of the future for the franchise. Let's hear from our national sports guy and my friend Will Rutherford on the signing before I puke.
All right, Will, I guess we have a franchise quarterback.
I hope somebody comes and pays him more than $37.8 million. The Colts can't do this. They cannot pay Daniel Jones this amount of money. I like the idea of letting Alec Pierce walk. They should have let Daniel Jones walk with him. This is just one of those moves that's going to be a real kicker for the franchise here in 3 years when Daniel Jones is no better than he was this season. I mean, he was great for the first 5 weeks. I think some of the competition they played may have helped expedite that. Nothing he showed me in those last 3 weeks proves he can be a franchise quarterback for a team. I think he can be a good quarterback, but this is just too much money for a guy like Daniel Jones, and this is just going to have financial implications for the rest of the roster moving forward.
Here's what I have to say about Daniel Jones. He is a starting quarterback in the NFL. You just hope he's not your starting quarterback.
I couldn't agree with that statement anymore. Daniel Jones signed a $14 million contract with the Colts, and like you said, Greg, he was great for that price, but anything more, it's too much. They just would have been much better, I think, rolling the dice with Riley Leonard and seeing what he could do, or potentially looking at a quarterback in the second round. They're just in a situation now where they have no future to win a Super Bowl, to even get to an AFC championship, I think, for the next 10 years. That's courtesy of this Daniel Jones move. I think it's courtesy of a few other moves Chris Ballard's made, but this isn't going to end well for this franchise.
Hopefully there's a backup plan for the future, but I doubt it will. I've lost complete faith in this front office to do anything right.
Well, they did one thing right, and that was let Alec Pierce walk. He was not the wide receiver, too, that they needed to pay $25 to $30 million for. Whoever he goes to had just made their ability to win a Super Bowl non-existent. Because if you're paying Alec Pierce $25 to $30 million to be your wide receiver, too, you're going to be vastly disappointed in how he performs under that contract.
It's like $250,000 a catch.
Yeah, no kidding. Colts fans are complaining about Michael Pittman, that his cap hit this year's $29 million. Alec Pierce is better than Michael Pittman.
Not even close.
So if you're upset about Pittman's price tag, why are you okay with the Pierce contract? It's just hilarious that's the player that Colts fans were going to hang up on. Good luck to Alec Pierce over the course of his career. It's not going to be with Indianapolis. And unfortunately, the next team he signs for, their playoff and Super Bowl odds just vastly declined.
And it's so frustrating, Will, but you and I will continue to talk about the Colts whenever there's news We hope to have a Colts report this Friday, but it's sectional week, so maybe not. But we will definitely continue to talk about the Colts on Greatness Prince Talk Sports. Thank you so much, Will.
Yep, thank you.
Sorry, I sounded like I was screaming at you. I was at a basketball game, and it was really loud in the background. Hope to have a Colts report for you sometime this weekend. Other NFL news from Tuesday, the Chiefs traded all-pro cornerback Trent Duffy to the Rams. The Cardinals announced that they're parting ways with quarterback Kyler Murray, probably a better option than Daniel Jones. He could have been had for a lot less, probably. And the Cowboys have restructured the contracts of Dak Prescott, Tyler Smith, and CeeDee Lamb, and used the franchise tag on George Pickens. Kyle Pitts got the franchise tag from the Falcons, as did Breece Hall from the Jets. Maybe the biggest news was that Trey Hendrickson was not franchise tagged by the Cincinnati Bengals. Rumors are that he's available. Lots of high school basketball scores and highlights from Tuesday night, and we start in Class 2A, where most of the schools we're interested in play their postseasons. And we will start at Elwood, where I was on Tuesday night. And it started with an overtime thriller. Taylor 59-53 over Tipton. Javon Harris 28 points and 14 rebounds for the 16-8 Titans. Peyton Aller had 21 points for the Blue Devils. So on Friday night in the first semifinal, it'll be 16-8 Taylor against 18-4 Sheridan. Sheridan beat Taylor 59-53, same score they won by on Tuesday night. That's interesting. Sheridan beat Taylor on its way to a Hoosier Heritage Conference Championship. Should be a great one. And in the second semifinal, the game we all expected to be the classic, it was number 9 Lapel 68-38 over rival Frankton after beating them by a point in the regular season. Owen Garber scored 28 points to lead the 18-15 Bulldogs, who face host and 10-13 Elwood in Friday's second semifinal. Frankton's season ends at 17-7, but they have a bright future. All right, let's hear from Lapel head coach and my friend, Kevin Cherry.
All right, Coach. Well, with what happened last year, you had to like the way your team came out and just took it to them from the start.
Yeah, I thought the way we responded that first 4 minutes, although last year we did come out and make some shots early, tonight we handled that situation much better than last year. And that's something we stressed all week, that when we get to the tournament, it's not always the best team that wins. It's the toughest team that can stay together for 32 minutes over the course of 3 games. And that's what we're trying to do. So really proud with step 1 tonight. Against, let's just be honest, Frankton was a little bit banged up with the injuries that they had here late in the season, and I feel bad for both of those kids. You never want to you want everybody to be full strength when you get to this kind of a scenario, but, tons of respect for them and Brent and the way he does things. And, the next time roles could be reversed pretty quickly.
So more joy or relief tonight?
No, I think it's joy. I think because we played the way I thought we're capable of playing. We come in and we win one in overtime or we tip one in at the buzzer. That would probably be more of relief, but still joy. But tonight was just joy from the standpoint as I thought our guys were super unselfish. Defensively, getting into that second quarter when we were able to kind of get some separation, I thought defensively we were able to create some turnovers, get some easy baskets in transition. Because if you have to play in a half-court game with them and the way they can guard you, scoring the basketball can become very difficult at times. But being able to score in transition was a big part of what got us that separation tonight.
That was really the key late in the first quarter into the second quarter of putting a gap between.
And they got in a little bit of foul trouble, which was, you never know how that's going to go on any given night. But fortunately, that wasn't us tonight, although we did have a couple of kids pick up 2. I thought our 7, I really believe this, and we just talked about in the locker rooms. I don't know who's going to lead us in scoring on a nightly basis. It could be a Tyler Cash, who I don't think even scored tonight, maybe. It could be a Quinn Wilkins. It could be a Luke Jones. It could be Devin. We've seen that throughout the course of the year, that if we can get 4 guys in double figures, which we have done that several times, we typically will win that game. So our scoring can be very balanced. And I haven't seen the book yet tonight, but I think that's what we'll see. I'm sure Owen probably led us, but Luke put in a nice performance as well.
One step closer to the championship, Elwood on Friday night, a team you didn't see during the regular season. Your thoughts heading into that one?
Well, I just mentioned to the radio that I haven't watched any film on any other opponent in this sectional outside of Frankton. And so we'll start doing that tomorrow. But what I do know is Ryan Van Skyok does a fantastic job, and he is a tremendous basketball coach. And I know that his kids will play extremely hard. They're in a home court situation. So we'll have to come and play. And our message, regardless of our opponents, we always want to try to play to our expectation level or to what our standard is. And so that's step one. And then step two is we'll start watching film and game planning and trying to see what their tendencies are and see what we need to take away to be successful. But tonight we enjoy this one. Tomorrow we get right back to work.
Coach, thank you, and we'll see you on Friday night.
Thank you.
And again, we have a full recap of both games with Michelle Garman of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood Call Leader that we released earlier this morning. Talked not only to Coach Cherry, but also Frankton head coach Brent Brobston, Taylor head coach Fonzo White, and Elwood athletic director and head coach Ryan Van Skyok. Staying in Class 2A at Eastbrook, it was Blackford 62-54 over Alexandria. Mari Leggett, 31 points for the Bruins. He now has 1,008 points for his career, and he's just a sophomore. Mason Kitterman averaged 18 and Eli Petro 10 for the 18-6 Bruins, who will face 13-9 Eastbrook in Friday's first semifinal. Blackford beat Eastbrook 63-39 on January 30th. Let's hear from Blackford head coach and my friend Aaron Daniels on the win.
All right, Coach, well, that was a really big step.
It was. We tell everybody, if you're going to make a tournament run, you got to have a game like that. You know, it was punch for punch. There was several lead changes. We had our backs against the wall. Alexandria is a fantastic basketball team, and to come out on top in a game like that, it just makes you that much stronger as a team, and you've got to have those kind of moments to make a sectional run, and we think that we've been prepared for that moment, and to come out on top was it was a great night for us. It was great for our kids. Just an awesome experience for us.
I will admit, I did not pick you guys to win the sectional, but I was the only one of us three to pick you to win, to beat the Tigers on Tuesday nights.
Coach,
I'll tell you, they had won 7 in a row coming in, and they were playing good basketball. It was a heavyweight, punch for punch tonight, and either team could have won that game, and just our poise down the stretch really helped us get a hold of that thing.
Well, one of the reasons I picked you guys is because I said you would have the best player on the court, and in Leggett. And I said I've seen really good guards be able to take over games when they need to, and he was big for you guys tonight.
Yeah, and when it comes to tournament time, everybody says, you got to have the best player on the court. And tonight, it was it. The first half, he goes for 25 of our 30. We kind of are shy with the ball other than him. And then the second half, he just continues to play well, has a huge steal in the dunk late in the game. And whenever we have him, we always have a chance, no matter who you're playing, because he is probably one of the top 2 or 3 kids, if not the top kid in all of 2A basketball. And so for him to be a sophomore, he gets his 1,000th point tonight. He's a special talent. And when he gets some help, and he got a little bit of help tonight, especially in the second half, we're hard to beat.
All right, Coach, big one with Eastbrook on Friday. Never easy to play the host team in the sectional, and that's a good Eastbrook team.
Definitely. We expended a ton of energy tonight while they rest up, they get a little bit healthier. It's going to be a packed house on Friday night. Wapahani is going to be packed. They're going to be there. I think everybody's going to be cheering for Eastbrook except for the Blackford fans. Should be an unbelievable environment again. And that's what sectional basketball is all about. It's going to be a great task for us. We know that they're not the same, we beat them pretty good a couple weeks ago, but we shot it really well. And so it'll be interesting to see kind of what plays out in that game.
And you get a chance to prove me wrong.
Absolutely. We'll take it. Absolutely.
Coach Daniels, Thank you so much for your time as always, and we will talk to you on Friday night.
Thank you guys a ton. I appreciate you.
And in the second semifinal was Burris 50-40 over Madison Grant. Malachi Smith, 15 points off the bench for the 10-13 Owls. They will face 4-time defending champion Wapahani on Friday. Wapahani is 12-10 and beat Burris 72-32 on January 10th. And we also had a full recap of Tuesday night's first round games at Eastbrook with Grant Schaus and a full interview with Coach Daniels. Also in Class 2A at Manchester, 3 different Class 2A sectionals for the CIC teams. But we start with a former CIC team, Wabash, with a 68-62 win over Eastern. Eli Mattern, 23 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. And Trace Doherty, 20 points and 10 rebounds for the Apaches. That according to Sam Frick of ANEC Sports. In Friday's first semifinal will be Wabash against 9-12 Rochester. Rochester beat the Apaches 55-41 3 weeks ago. And in the second quarterfinal, it was 22-1 and second-ranked Oak Hill 73-30 over defending state champion Manchester. Jace Tonical, 19.7 assists, 5 rebounds, and 5 steals for Oak Hill, who will play 13-9 Lewis Cass on Friday. Oak Hill beat Cass 55-46 in last year's sectional semifinal. And finally in 2A, Blake Gray, Josh McGee, and Faisal Muhammad combined for 60 points as University beat Monrovia 74-44 at Ritter. The Blazers will face 12 and 10 Covenant Christian in Friday semifinals, Park Tudor and Ritter in the second semifinal. In Class 4A, we start in the South at Greenfield Central, where Muncie Central avenged an earlier loss to Richmond with a 56-47 victory. The Bearcats are now 12 and 11. Shamar Taylor scored 19 points and had 5 steals, and Jackson Johnson 14 points and 5 blocks, according to Muncie Star Press sports editor Kate Hampton. The Bearcats will take on number 4 ranked Mount Vernon Blue Girdle, and the Marauders 22 and 3 on the year. That's the first semifinal Friday at Greenfield Central. The second semifinal will be the host Greenfield Central Cougars against Anderson, which beat rival Pendleton Heights 53-51 at the buzzer on Don Bowling's off-balance shot to win it. And at Noblesville, it was the host Millers improving to 13 and 10 on the year with a 42-38 win over Zionsville. Baron Walker had 21 points to lead Noblesville. Camden Moore 19 for the Eagles, according to Jacob Pfeiffer of Indy Sports Zone. Noblesville will take on rival Carmel. The 10th ranked Greyhounds are 16 and 5 and beat the Millers 64-52 on December 12th. The second semifinal Friday will be 12th ranked Hamilton Southeastern against number 1 Fishers after the Royals beat rival Westfield 68-61 on Tuesday. Landon Oswald 23 points and 10 rebounds to lead the Royals. Class 3A, we start at Bellmont. Game 1 was Heritage 51-48 over Norwell in overtime. Torian Brown 15 points to lead the Patriots. Of course, former Frankton great Austin Compton, an assistant coach at Heritage, and they take on defending champion Marion. The Giants 5 and 16. That game at 6 o'clock on Friday. The second semifinal will be the host 7 and 16 Braves against New Haven, which defeated Mississinawa 69-51 on Tuesday. J.J. Rebel 21 points for New Haven. New Haven beat Belmont 75-59 on December 19th. At Logansport, there was only one game, and it was Northwestern winning their 16th game of the year, 74-52 over Twin Lakes. It'll be Northwestern versus Logansport on Friday night. The Berries are 13-9 and beat Northwestern 77-73 in 2 overtimes in Logansport on January 31st. Wednesday's quarterfinals at Logansport, it's 11-11 Western against 19-4 and 9th-ranked West Lafayette, followed by 3 and 19 defending champion Mechanical against 6 and 16 Peru. At Newcastle, it was number 14 Yorktown 52-46 over number 8 Jay County. Second straight season, the Tigers have eliminated the Patriots. 15-8 Yorktown takes on 14-9 Connorsville back at Newcastle Friday night at 6 o'clock. In the second semifinal on Tuesday, it was Hamilton Heights winning for the 14th time in their last 15 games with a 59-42 win over the host Trojans. Hamilton Heights outscored Newcastle 15-4 in the second quarter. The Huskies will take on 3-time defending sectional champion Delta in Friday's second semifinal. Delta is 13 and 10. And at Frankfort, it was number 10 Brebeuf 59-35 over Tri-West. And Wednesday's quarterfinals at Frankfort, it'll be 9 and 14 Danville against 14 and 8 Crawfordsville. And 5th ranked and 19 and 5 Guerin Catholic against 2 and 21 Frankfort. And in Class A, Carroll defeated Traders Point 58-33 in the sectional at Clinton Central. The Cougars will take on 18 and 5 and 10th ranked Rossville on Friday. Carroll actually beat the Hornets 56-55 right before Christmas. And Wednesday's quarterfinals at Clinton Central, it's 5 and 17 Clinton Prairie, the defending Class A state champions against 13 and 10 Bethesda Christian. and 16-6 Frontier against 2-19 Clinton Central. At Wes-Del on Tuesday, it was North Miami 61-22 over Southern Wells, and Tri-Central 49-43 over Northfield. On Friday, 14-9 North Miami will take on 9-15 Tri-Central in the first semifinal. The second semifinal will be determined on Wednesday with the quarterfinals that features 4-17 Daleville against 6-15 Wes-Del, and 19-3 fifth-ranked Southwood against 7-14 Cowan. Southwood the heavy favorites in this sectional. And finally, at the Indiana Deaf sectional, which actually got moved in the middle of a game last night to Anderson Prep after there was a leaky ceiling, Purdue Broad Ripple beat the host Orioles 47-30 to improve to 16-9. The other quarterfinal was moved to tonight, 9-13 Anderson Prep against 3-14 International. Also Wednesday, four-time defending champion and heavy favorite Liberty Christian is 15-7, takes on winless MTI Knowledge. Let's move to some men's college basketball, and number 2 Grace beat number 4 Indiana Wesleyan for the third time this season, 84-82, to improve to 28-3 on the year. Sophomore Ian Rash, 21 points to lead the Lancers. Both teams will be in the NAIA tournament. Both teams will be a host site in the NAIA tournament, and the brackets will be announced on Thursday night. We will have those for you on Friday's podcast. Also in the NAIA, IU Southeast beat IU Kokomo 87-83 for the River States Championship. Despite 24 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds from freshman Alonzo Clausen-Smith. At 24-7, pretty good chance the Cougars are in the NAIA field as well. In Division I men's basketball, Ball State won their third straight game, beating Western Michigan in overtime, 74-71 on the road to improve to 11-19. Armani Ziegler, 28 points, 8 assists, and 7 rebounds for the Cardinals. And Miami is 30-0 after holding off Toledo 74-72 at home on Tuesday. Peter Suter from Carmel led the Redhawks with 19. And Purdue-Fort Wayne season ended with a 64-56 loss in the first round of the Horizon League at Green Bay. And in the Big Ten, number 11 Illinois had no problem with Oregon, 80-54, but number 9 Nebraska was blown out at UCLA, 72-52. So after Big Ten champion Michigan in the standings, it's number 8 Michigan State now at 14-4. The Cornhuskers and Illini both 14-5, and Wisconsin at number 15 Purdue both 12-6. Again, a Purdue report with Jake Dunn we released earlier Wednesday as we reacted to the ugly loss Sunday at Ohio State and preview the game against Northwestern. Just say very skeptically. And the Mexico City Capitans completed a sweep of the Noblesville Boom with a 122-110 win south of the border on Tuesday night. The Boom are back home on Thursday against the College Park Skyhawks and now really need a win. And a look ahead to a busy Wednesday in Central Indiana. In men's college basketball at 6:30, it's 14-15 Minnesota at 17-12 IU. The Gophers won the first matchup 73-64 on December 3rd in Minneapolis. Following IU Minnesota on the Big Ten Network, it'll be number 14 Purdue against Northwestern at 8:30. In the Big East at 6 o'clock, it's 14-16 Creighton at 15-14 Butler. The Blue Jays won the first matchup 89-85 on December 30th in Omaha. And 18-11 Stanford is at 13-6 Notre Dame. The Irish won at Stanford 47-40 on December 30th. That game is at 9 o'clock. And most conference tournaments are underway in women's college basketball, including the Big Ten. It gets underway this afternoon at 3:30 at 17-13 Indiana against 18-11 Nebraska. The Hoosiers looking for their 4th win in a row. The winner will play number 5 seed Ohio State. And at 8:30 it's 13-16 Purdue against 20-11 Oregon, with the winner getting 6 seed Maryland on Thursday in Indianapolis. The IU and Purdue games are both on the Peacock app. Just a handful of Wednesday quarterfinals and high school basketball sectionals. In Class 3A at Logansport, it's 9th ranked and 19-4 West Lafayette against 11-11 Western. The Red Devils beat Western 71-60 on January 3rd. The Panthers looking for their first sectional championship since 2020. And in the second game at Logansport on Wednesday, it's defending sectional champion Mechanic-Wall 3-19 against 6-16 Purdue. Purdue beat the Braves 78-71 on January 16th. A couple of games at Frankfort on Wednesday. It's 14-8 Crawfordsville against 9-14 Danville. Then 5th-ranked Guerin Catholic at 19-5 takes on the host Hot Dogs, who are 2-21. Guerin is the 3-time defending sectional champion, 4 in the last 5 years, and the favorite again this year. At Greenwood, it'll be 8-16 Beech Grove against 3-19 Indian Creek, followed by 14-7 Roncalli against 13-11 New Pal. Roncalli beat the Dragons 43-40 on January 23rd. New Pal is the 3-time defending sectional champion and the defending regional champion. And in Class A, defending Class A state champion Clinton Prairie begins defense of its state championship against 13-10 Bethesda Christian. And then 16-6 Frontier against 2-19 Clinton Central. And at Wes-Del, 4-17 Daleville against 6-15 Wes-Del. Wes-Del won a thriller in the regular season 61-59 on December 20th. Then at 6th rank and 19-3 Southwood, the heavy favorite in the sectional at Wes-Del, against 7-14 Cowan. Thank you so much for joining us. My friends and I will be back tomorrow. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.